77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
All right, Walter Sterling. Now listen, Savannah Guthrie has shared a video appealing for public help to find her missing mother. Now, this is what she says, and this is what's bizarre to me about Savannah Guthrie and her missing mom. She says that her 84-year-old mother disappeared February 1st, with police believing she may have been kidnapped from her home. "We will never stop looking for you. We will never be at peace until we find you," Savannah Guthrie wrote in an Instagram post. "We will never be happy till we find you." Okay, nice. And now she's going to start hosting a new game show on NBC. Put aside the reality of getting up the energy, positive nature, focus that it takes to run a game show. Put that aside. Think for a moment about you and me watching Savannah Guthrie host a game show. Will that ever be a comfortable experience? Because all we're going to think about is where's mom? And what did you know? And what about your scary brother-in-law who looks like Rasputin? That brother-in-law looks like Rasputin. I'm certainly not saying that he did anything, but I am saying he looks like one of those guys who might do something. Not that he did anything, but he looks scary. They went to dinner that night, Mom and Rasputin. I believe Mom had a lot of money, mostly because of Savannah, and an expensive house. She was old. They may have had a discussion about her estate and what she was going to do with it. And it may have infuriated Rasputin. He may not have liked the fact that he wasn't getting anything. That Savannah still was in charge and she was getting everything and all of that. And then because there was money there, it really is inexcusable that her alarm system wasn't up to snuff, was not working, and the subscription for the alarm system wasn't active. That's all wacky. Savannah should have taken care of that. But let's say she didn't. We can't blame her for not paying for Mom's subscription. I think that Savannah did what a lot of families do when they know or they suspect a member of the family has committed a heinous crime. They just shut up. Rather than let that member go to jail with all the cousins and all the relatives being affected by that, they just shut up. The less Savannah knew about where he was and what he was doing, whoever it was, the better it was for Savannah. But for her to say, "Mom, we miss you," and then say, "Oh, by the way, in a month I'm going to be hosting a new NBC game show," that's a very, very unusual dynamic. Many of us have never run into that situation. I think it was somebody she knew. I think it was somebody that she, for whatever reason, decided not to turn in or not give enough information. I don't think Savannah would. Savannah's not dumb enough to hide information about a murder or a kidnapping. But I think she had a problem because no members of that family are acting right. They've never acted right. How do you feel about this? What is your conspiracy theory about Savannah Guthrie's mom? 800-848-9222. Much easier to talk about than Jeffrey Epstein making jerky out of children. Yet, Mr. Aragon, a host in New Mexico, a big deal host in New Mexico, knows the community, knows the Zorro Ranch that Epstein owned. huge ranch in the middle of nowhere, purposely designed to not hear people screaming. If anybody escaped from that ranch, they had no place to go. They would have died out in the desert. It was a prison. That was its purpose. That's where they traffic kids. They're not going to traffic kids in Palm Beach. People would notice. They needed to traffic people where nobody would notice. And that's what they did. It was in the New Mexico desert. Nobody would see it. Nobody would hear anything. And it was on protected land. It was land owned by the governor of New Mexico, the former governor of New Mexico, a politically protected territory. All of those people, my Jersey mother would say, they were all ick. They were all icky. Everybody associated with Epstein, they were just icky. Now, you and I don't want to hear any more about Jeffrey Epstein because it always swerves way far away from what mattered. What mattered were there children trafficked? Yes. Were there women trafficked? Yes. And was he making jerky out of human flesh? Aragon says yes. Absolutely says that is what it was made out of. Whoa. Instead, the conversation always goes to, well, who was at the parties? Well, who was at these parties? I want to see who was at these parties. I'll tell you who was at the parties in Palm Beach. Anybody who lived in Palm Beach. He was one of those kind of guys. There were many people at his parties who did nothing except have a drink and leave. To be courteous, to be polite in the neighborhood, they would have a drink and leave. They'd have pictures taken, and that was the problem. They had pictures taken with Epstein and others. But now we still have the hanging Chad, the hanging Chad case of Savannah Guthrie's mom not reappearing. Savannah Guthrie's mom still is not been found. I believe that whoever kidnapped her did not expect there would be so much trouble. I suspect what happened is this was an old woman who was probably diabetic, and they kidnapped her figuring she'd be alive. They'd have her, because you can't have a kidnapping without a live person. You can't have a kidnapping without an address and a demand. No address and no demand was provided and no proof of person. So I think what happened is they kidnapped her. At some point in the process, she died. They weren't counting on that. Now what do? We have this dead woman. We can't produce the fact that she's alive. We can't say this is where you come to get her and this is how much money we want because she's not alive. If you're doing a kidnapping, here's my tip. Keep them alive. If they die, everything's ruined. There's nothing there. Then they had to start to make up stories. We want $10 million. Leave it over here. Yeah, we'll show it to you. No, if you're doing a kidnapping, you have to show a live person. That live person has to say, yes, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Just give them the $10 million. But she died. They weren't counting on that. That screwed up everything. That's my feeling about the Savannah Guthrie mom kidnapping.